Do you remember when we went to, when we were in Dublin and it was like 10 different countries in 15 nights, something crazy. You did press all day long. It was an exhausting day and we end the show and it was a sort of very small, old school theater in Dublin. And we end up in the alley after because you don't walk out the front, to where everybody's going to mob you. And it was about 1 a.m. and we walk out and it's a dark alley and we had no security. It was just me, you, Tammy, and John, the tour manager. And there were two guys about 40 yards away from us and we could sort of see them and it almost seemed like they were fighting or something. They started kind of rushing towards us and we all thought for a second that they were, going to jump us or something. And then as they got closer, we saw they were both in tears. One guy was probably about late 50s and one guy was probably early 20s. And they told us that it was a father and son who had a falling out about 8 years before, had not spoke in 8 years, independently went to the show alone, saw each other there and made amends. I mean, I just got chills up my spine telling you the story again. Like, what's the point of that? The point is that if you order yourself, that you will order the world. That's real. There's a line that I've been reading from Carl Jung, who I know had a little influence on you over the years, that I've been ending a lot of my shows with lately. I'm going to slightly butcher the exact quote, but in essence, that if you don't do the call for adventure, if you don't go on the call for adventure, the exact thing you're asking for, you will be left with nothing but neurosis. The walls will basically close in on you. And we all know this. Think of all the interesting cool...
Yeah, that's all that's left is the suffering.
Right, because...
the pointless suffering.
Think of all the interesting cool people that you and I have had the privilege of being around in these last 8 years, since we met 8 years ago this month, actually.
Right. It's it's been 8 years.
It's been 8, I think it was 8 years ago this week. It was November, it was the second week of November in 2016. I had just moved into a new house. We were building my home studio in the garage. I didn't even have internet. I was stealing internet from my neighbor. We did this. You were just on the scene because of the free speech bill.
Like a month.
And suddenly my Twitter feed was blowing up. You got to talk to this guy, Jordan Peterson. We jump on a Skype. People can find this online. We jump on the Skype. It's very, sketchy in and out. The picture's no good. It's all pixelated. And you're in your office and I'm sitting in my house and we're talking. You're doing the Peter Pan story and everything. And it ends. And I turn to David, I swear on my life. And I said to him, that guy is either the most brilliant person I've ever talked to or completely insane. I leave it to you to decide.
I guess I leave it to plenty of discussion about that.
But right, exactly. But flash forward 8 years, we've both been on adventures that have kind of collided at times and then gone separately at times, good, bad, all sort of health things, all the kids, all the stuff. And yet, I think that we're probably both sitting here as good as we've ever been. That's a sort of scary, I don't like saying it in some sense, because then it feels like it's inviting doom or something. But I think it's only because I've seen that when you do what you're supposed to do, when you really do it, and you say something true, even just connected to the political world of the last couple of years, I think we had a little something to do with getting people to wake up to what was going on in the world. You did it at the sort of psychological, personal front. I kind of did it on the political front. And we have an unbelievably hopeful world coming right now, I think.